Welcome to the art room. Every time you come to art, I will meet you at this door and you will line up against this white wall and wait for me to invite you into the art room. As you walk into the art room, you might notice these nifty arrows on the floor. When you come into the art room, you will follow these arrows to find the next art seat available at one of the blue tables. As you can see, every table has 3 stools at it, which means there are 3 kids at each table. These arrows help with the flow of the classroom so that we're not running into each other all the time. As you can see, there is a lot going on in the art room, and you may be wondering, you may come in and you're dying to know, what are we going to make today? Well, a great place to find out before you even ask the teacher is to look up at the chalkboard where you can see the plan for each day in the art room. You will notice that we will most likely be doing several different things in one day. You also will notice a sign up here in the corner that says, "Sorry, we're closed." On the back of this sign, it says, "We're open." That is your clue to know that when you come into the art room and you see this sign, it is your signal that you are expected to sit quietly and listen to directions, and the opportunity to ask questions or talk to your neighbor is closed. After I flip over this sign, I'm happy to answer any questions, and you can feel free to talk to your neighbor. You will also notice over here to the left is our art room voice levels chart, which we talked about, the art word of the week, the elements of art that we're going to talk about a lot this year, some important information about color, art word magnets, a paper cabinet, and a paper cutter, which kids do not need to touch, and also these 2 important boxes. On the left is a wire box. That's where we keep the free draw paper. On the right is a box with a class code 2T. That code belongs to the class Mrs. Thomas's 2nd grade. When you complete your art, you will write your name and your class code. If you're in Mrs. Thomas's 2nd grade, you write 2T. If you're in Mrs. DeRue's 3rd grade, you would write 3D. Did you get the idea? I will help you and remind you. This is where your art will go when you're finished your work, unless your painting is wet. In that case, you will put it in these drying racks. Speaking of paint, over here is the sink. That's where you can wash your hands and get cleaned up after you do painting. You can see that the soap is right next to it on the left. Paper towels are right here, and you can put your paper towels in the trash can below. If you come to this sink and you notice that there is a bucket inside with soapy water, it is not an invitation for you to play in the bubbles. It's most likely a place to put dirty paint brushes, and I will ask you to do that. If you ever are finished your work and just have a couple minutes, you are at the teacher's permission, you're invited to hang out in the studio lounge. In the studio lounge, you can look at some art books with some distinctive illustrators to help tell the story. You can look at a drawing book and do a practice drawing on a Post-it note or a whiteboard. Panning around this direction once again, let's look at what is to the right of the chalkboard. notice a masterpiece gallery. At this gallery, you have the opportunity to bring in pieces of art that you make at home that you would like to share with me that I can hang up here at the Masterpiece Gallery. We also see our art room rules, which we talked about before. Be kind, listen, and follow directions. Raise your hand. Here we also have some consequences. Heads up, take a break, and parent contact. If your class does a fabulous job in art, which I'm sure they will, you have the opportunity to win points for your class here on these paint chip charts. As you complete each chart, you can have a fun experience doing something extra special in art. In case we have an emergency while we're doing art in the art room, this exit door is where we will line up to have a fire drill. You'll line up quickly and quietly at this door, and we will go outside across the portico to the parking lot. I'll be there to help you. Do not leave the building until the teacher says to go. If there is a lockdown drill, we will most likely huddle in this corner nice and cozy like until we know it's safe. Finally, if there is a tornado drill, we will line up on this colorful line in the directions of these arrows and go out to the hall. Your teacher will meet us there. Speaking of this line, this is also where you need to exit the art room. After your table is cleaned up, follow the arrows to this green arrow where you will line up to be dismissed. As I see your teacher coming, I will say, adios, amigos. Great work today in art. Now, let's get busy.